So welcome back to my garage. So far 2026 hasn't stopped raining, so my promise of more videos hasn't been fulfilled yet, but it's coming. Just need the weather to chill out a little bit. But I thought I'll take advantage of the garage whilst the weather's terrible to answer a question and or comment that I get all the time on my camping videos, which is how do I fit all of my stuff on my bike? So here it is. This is everything that I took in this video is here on this desk. And all of this is going to go on the bike. And I'm going to show you how in this video. But normally the comments range from how do you fit all that on your bike, right through to I don't believe you fitted all that on your bike and you must have a car or something to bring all that stuff to you. I have to say, I am not that committed to camping to go and bring a car with all my stuff to the campsite, then go back and get my bike and then come back. No. All of this does go on and it all fits inside 4 bags. And in addition to all this, I actually take all my camera gear as well. So I pack more than this usually. So normally in my videos, I always get 1 or 2 comments from folk that are like, oh, you know, if you're going on a long trip, you wouldn't take all that with you. And of course, no, I wouldn't take all this with me. This is for if you're going to camp to camp. So for me, I think there are 2 types of camping experiences. There's ones where you're on a trip and you're using camping as a cheap form of accommodation for the evening. And for that kind of camping, I would not bring half of this stuff. For that, it's just basic. You just want a tent, your bed, maybe a chair, and some way of cooking. The other form is where all of this comes in, and that's if you're going to camp. And that's where having a nice experience means having all of this junk just allows you to have like actually a really nice time. And it for it to be comfortable and not be sort of an endurance test. So I'm going to go through all these pieces and we'll fit it all in the bags and I'll show you how to put it on the bike. So I should say before we get started, none of this has been given to me for free or I haven't got any money for promoting anybody. This is all just stuff I bought with my own money, and whether I had a YouTube channel or not, I'd have still bought all of this stuff. So the main thing you're going to want is a tent. I use 2 different types of tents. The white one is a Decathlon 2-second tent, and that's more my sort of traveling tent. It's really quick to set up, and it's a blackout tent, so you're always going to get a good night's sleep. And it's just a good, robust tent. It doesn't pack down that small, so if you're one of those ultralight guys that want to have everything super, super tiny, that's not the tent for you. This thing weighs about 5 kilos. But it will just sit on the back of your bike, no problem. And when you get to your destination, it's super convenient to throw it up. It's a good tent. The tent here with all of this stuff is, I keep it in this bag. That's canvas throw. This is new for this year, which fits in here. This is about, I think this is about 3 or 4 kilos. And this one is a Pomerleigh Chalet 70 Pro. Don't confuse it with the Pomerleigh Chalet 70, which is the older version. This is the newer one. I say newer, it's been out quite a few years. But the older version you can still buy on Amazon. It's a little bit cheaper, but it doesn't have a stitched in fire mat, which the new one does. Unlike the Decathlon tent, which is kind of like an all-season tent. You can use that any time of year. The Pomerleigh is really only a sort of summer tent without the stove. But it's just a single layer, and if you close those vents up at night, it condensates inside the tent like crazy. So with the stove, it's brilliant for winter and colder conditions. So that brings me on to the stove that goes with it that people ask about all the time. So the stove is a Pomerleigh titanium folding stove. If you buy them direct from Pomerleigh's website, the newest versions are really expensive, but you can get the older versions on Amazon for like a fraction of the price, which is what I did. And that is an absolutely fantastic stove. It folds down relatively small into its own little pack. And it's a really good sort of nice way to keep warm in a tent when you're outside. It's particularly in the mornings when it's cold. You put the fire on, it's lovely in the tent. It's really cozy. I'd very much, if you haven't hot tented before, just give it a go. It's really, really good. With that in mind, whenever you are using a stove, you want to get one of these. This is a carbon monoxide detector. So I have this on all night when I'm in the tent, particularly if I've got like a long burning log on there just to keep me warm. And this will wake me up if the fumes get too much. I know this works well and it's perfectly safe, but I would get one of these anyway, just for peace of mind, so you can sleep a bit more securely. For the sort of fancy camps, I don't bring a sleeping mat, I bring a bed. This one is from One Tigris. It sits quite low off the floor, a little bit more expensive, but again, it's just worth paying it a little bit extra for. It's kind of easy to erect, it's very sturdy, and it's really comfortable. Inflatable pillow. I need a pillow. You might not need a pillow. I definitely need a pillow. This one's from Decathlon. It's very good. I could probably do with getting a better one now, but definitely works. Inflatable pillows, there's no reason not to bring one. They're absolutely tiny. So to go with your nice sleeping setup, you're going to need a decent sleeping bag. I bought a down sleeping bag from Decathlon. It was quite expensive, but it's really good and it does keep me warm. So more than anything else, if you're going to splash your money, I would say spend it on a nice sleeping bag, because that's going to help you have a nice comfortable night, so that the next day you sort of wake up, you're not absolutely knackered and you can get on with more riding. Top tip with these, don't keep them in this sort of crush bag. The down feathers, if they're left like this for too long, will just stay compressed and then it won't puff up and keep you warm. So you can buy sort of mesh bags. So when you're at home, you can just keep the sleeping bag in that, and it's much bigger and it allows you to store your bag where the feathers can sort of puff out and then not get ruined over time. So if you do spend money on a down one, don't keep it in its little crush bag. Unless you're traveling, of course, and then do put it in the crush bag. With that, with the camping bed and this, I always recommend just getting one of these, which is a little foil mat. Just put it under you, because you can feel the cold off the ground, particularly if you're camping in colder months. The cold from the ground will get through whatever ground sheet you're on. Having one of these between you and the floor is a really good investment, and they're only about £5, so there's no reason not to get one of those. So while we're talking about comfort, you want to bring a chair with you. I always bring one. This one is a very low chair. This is a Trackology Yizzy Light. And the reason I have that one is because inside the Pomerly tent, I want to be able to sit in my chairs with a backrest. I could sit on the bed, but I want to be able to have a backrest. So this chair is low enough to the ground that it will allow me to actually sit inside the tent. When I'm using the other tent, I have another different chair that has slightly longer legs. It's a good chair. You can go crazy and spend a lot of money on chairs. It's your bag if you want to. This one was quite cheap, but it works. To go with my sort of traditional camping setup, I have a Trangia cook set. These are, in my opinion, the best cook set you can get for camping. They've been out for decades. People pass them down from generation to generation. They're that good. It's very robust. You can't break them. Come in two sizes. I have this slightly smaller size, but you know, if you're a big man and you like having 3 sausages instead of 2, get the bigger one. It's not that much of a size difference, actually. You can, if you really want to go old school, you can get the oil burner that comes with it. I got the gas attachment, and this goes on top of the gas bottle. Just because it's cleaner, I can adjust the heat when I want to, and it doesn't cover my pans in soot. So I think that's a worthwhile addition to it. But you know, you might be really old school. You might want to cook everything off an actual real oil flame. Go nuts. I don't want to. So when you're cooking, you've got everything ready. You're going to need some utensils. I use this silly canvas knife bag, which is far too big. But I'll show you what I have in here, because you don't actually need that much. So the first thing, very important, is a wooden spoon, which is good for stirring soup or smacking naughty kids. This is part of the Trangia kit. It's just a little handle for picking up the pots when they're hot. Tongs for flipping burgers and bacon, or you know, asparagus or whatever if you're not a meat eater. I have these, which are my Opinel number 7 knives. Is it number 7? Number 8. Opinel number 8 knives. And you can get these little attachments for them, which go on end, which is a spoon and a fork, which is a really nice way to have a full cutlery set. So these just pop off, and then you've got your knife ready to go. These are really good. They're a fantastic knife. It does everything that you want your knife to do. Very sharp, very robust. It's very simple. It's very hard to break that. And I have 2 because I like, you know, can use one as a knife, use one as a fork. They're very good. I recommend those very much. I have a little pair of scissors because I don't really know why I carry these. They're just small and sometimes you need scissors, so I brought those. And then I have this Soto extending lighter, which is really good. It's a gas light, it's refillable. Just a very good lighter. Definitely recommend those. And it's refillable, so that'll last you a lifetime. Got a Swiss Army knife now. Never used that so far, but it can't hurt to have one. A cup, because you need cups of tea, and why not have a cup? It's one of the big things that you lack when you're camping is water. So I have this, which again is from Decathlon. I buy a lot of stuff from Decathlon because it's just good stuff. And then finally with the cooking setup, you're going to want a gas canister. I've got quite a big one. I need to get a smaller one really, but these are good. It's just a gas canister, you can buy them anywhere. I have that, and that works for cooking, and it also works for my little lantern. Again, don't cost loads of money, and well worth bringing along with you. So you've got your cooking equipment, and the next thing you need is something to bring your food in. It's a little cool bag. I like these ones from Sistema. They're really well made. I know from experience they fit just enough food for me to bring snacks, breakfast, and lots of ingredients if I want to be fancy and cook something nice. I don't always do that. Sometimes I'll cook something a lot simpler. I really don't think there's much need for people to be eating those dehydrated military packets of like slop. And you can just go to the supermarket and get a big tin of chunky soup, and that tastes nicer. It comes in a can that you can't break, and they cook in like a few minutes. And just get a can of soup if you really don't want to cook something. So to eat your food off, you're going to want a table. So I have a little folding table from Trichology that I use sometimes. And other times, when I really want to go a bit fancy, I use my big table, which is super inconvenient to fit on a bike. Again, not one that I'd recommend to anybody else to use on a bike, because it's difficult to find somewhere to put that. But I think for me, it's worth the aggravation of trying to find somewhere to bring it, because I like using that table. It's very good. It gives me a lot of space to cook and do stuff on. Again, you can get those from Amazon. That is a Rock Cloud 3-part folding table. So the bit that you never see on camera is what I do after I've eaten, which is wash up. It's not very exciting, so I don't film that bit. But I do bring stuff for that. So this is just a little foldable wash basin, and there's just like a little scrubber in there and a bit of washing up liquid. Also from Decathlon, you want to get a little light. Just battery powered. It will hang, stand up. It's just good. It's a good light, and it'll do you for illuminating things. I'll use the battery light when I need to, but from outside, I do like using this as a little fire maple lantern, and this screws into the top of your gas bottle, and you can light it, and it's like a nice clean burning flame, and you can adjust the size of the flame and stuff. It's a nice little thing, and that comes with me on pretty much all fancy camping trips. And even more old school than that is my storm lantern. I really like this. It's looking a bit battered now. This is difficult to find a good place to store this on the bike, so when in the videos you've probably seen this hanging off the back of a bag. So for the people that say it's really dangerous to have this on the back and bike, you're absolutely right. I don't ride with it with fuel in it ever. I normally just hang that off the back because it looks cool and I like using it. While we're talking about heat, a little foldable fire pit. These are brilliant. Mine's knackered. I've had it for about 5 years now. I've used it a lot. It's just about holding in. I might start selling these this year. If you can find a campsite in the UK that lets you build a fire, which is becoming rarer, these are a great way to have a fire and be safe. You're not going to set the ground alight. You're not going to burn it. Don't wreck the places that you're visiting, and you can pack it all away at the end of the day and no one will ever know that you've been there. So with the fire pit, you're going to want a way to light your fire. So as well as my little extendable gas lighter, I always bring some matches and some fire lighters just in case it gets a little bit difficult or I run out of gas. And with that as well, in my little plastic bag that I have those in, I always bring some mosquito coils, because nobody likes getting eaten alive at night. So I always carry one of those. They don't weigh anything, cost pennies, no reason not to have one. When you get to where you're going, you might want to charge your stuff up. So, I mean, obviously battery packs, there are so many options available. on Amazon or wherever. So I just bring a little brick, battery brick, and this allows me to charge cameras, phones, all sorts of stuff, so that I can film again in the morning. So not part of my camping kit per se, but something that you should have with you, and I tend to try and take it with me whenever I've got bags with me, is a first aid kit. So useful anyway when you're on a bike. If you've got the space for a first aid kit, 100% bring one with you, because it's one of those things that if you don't have one and you need it, you're kind of knackered. You know, some of the knives that I'm using are really sharp. I don't want to like gash my hand open and then have no way of actually being able to stop it bleeding or be able to clean it properly. You don't have to bring a massive first aid kit. Just a little one will do. These ones by Oxford are, that's pretty much got everything that you need. And then the last bit I bring, which is not really part of the camping kit, just something that I bring with me anyway, is a cargo net, which is massively tangled, but super useful because I don't bring wood with me when I set off. Sometimes I'll have to buy it on the way. And a cargo net is just good for, you know, if you bought some wood, some kindling, you can just strap it to the back of everything else without needing other stuff. So that's my kit. That's everything, I think. The main point of this video was to show you how it all goes into my bags, which is what I'm going to do right now. Now, some of you are very skeptical and don't believe that I can fit all this on my bike. So I'm going to show you me packing them into the bags. And I'm going to call them out one by one so you can see what I'm putting in to each bag. So the first thing you're going to need is some kind of big hold-all. I use Classic Rides Lancet tail bag, available at all Classic Ride stores everywhere. So I'll show you what I put in here. Heaviest items first, obviously. So that's going to be my camping bed. That goes in there, which fits very nicely. Next to go in there is my camping stove, which is the fire one that goes in there. That fits just about. Okay, that's in there. I'm gonna put my chair. Chair's not going in there. Okay. The Trangia cook set, that's going in. Gas bottle. And cup, and the other part of the Trangia kit, that's going in there as well. And then my washing up stuff's just gonna slide in the back. And that is that bag. Kind of full. I'll put the water stuff in there as well, why not? And that's that bag full. So these are the full bags and the little extra bits that we're going to put on the bike, and we're going to do that now. So I'm going to start off by putting the panniers on first, just because it's easier to do this without the big bags being on just yet. For me, I'm going to use these mounting points on my straps, but you can use your pannier rails or anywhere that's appropriate. I find these dead useful because they stop the bag from slipping backwards as well. So these are just going to go in the normal way. A little bit awkward doing this for the camera. So in order to put your bags on your bike, you're going to have to use some straps. So I use rock straps. Where you attach these to your bike is going to depend a bit on your specific bike. So if it's something like a Bonneville, you can use the frame rails under the seat, or just anywhere really that you can get a strap around. For this, I'm using my seat straps because I find these just really, really handy, and also I sell them. So these for the main bag are going to go around the top hoop here. So just as you know, rock straps are, you just hook them round the points there. Then the big bag, which just plonks on top. And then we're going to use those rock straps that we set up earlier on. Pull that tight. And then we just do the same thing for the tent bag. Put that on. Grab either end of this rock strap. And tighten it up. Biggest challenge here is this thing, because it is a real pain in the butt to find somewhere to put it. Recently, I've just been finding if I just stack it here and I'll use the cargo net to hold it in place, and that works kind of okay. Not perfect, but it never is, but that'll do. And then the last one is this thing, which is also a pain in the butt to try and find somewhere to hang it. So I'll probably just hook it on to the back so it's hanging off. And then the last thing is your backpack, which obviously you put on like a backpack. So that's it. That's my whole camping setup in just 4 bags, and that works on either the Triumph or the Royal Enfield, or any other bike for that matter. It's not that difficult to fit a lot of stuff on your bike if you want to. Of course, you don't have to carry all the stuff that I do. I don't always carry it either. But like I said, if it's, you know, you're going to camp to have a nice camp experience, it is nice to bring a lot of different stuff with you. Hopefully the weather is going to sort itself at some point soon. The rain can't last forever, surely. I may possibly do another garage video. I don't know. Let me know what you think. I didn't kind of want the channel to be a garage channel. But maybe now and again there is a call for them. I'd rather have done this video in a field actually camping, but there's just no chance at the minute. Hopefully the weather will sort itself out soon. I'll see you in the next one.